welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura, and today I am going to be doing a video about 9 books that I want to read in 2019. I got this idea from Sarah's Nightstand. I actually have one book that she actually posted in her video, so I'm going to start with that one, but all my other books are just randomly picked off my TBR shelves, saying I really need to pick this up and try reading them. So these are the top 9 that I want to read like very soon. So the first book is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This one I heard is a 5-star read by many people, and I hope that I like it. I just hope it's not overhyped for me. And I don't know much about this book. I know that the character is in her 80s or 90s or something, and she tells her life story. So that's all I know about this book, and that's it. So yeah, so I just got a text from my sister. Sorry, that's why I'm pausing. Anyway, this is the first book. I'm going to go into this one blind, and I hope to read this very soon. Her new book is coming out in 2019, and it is also on my 2019 most anticipated read. So I want to read this one before the new one comes out. So that's the first book. The second book is one that's been on my shelf for a while. Now, I have read every single book by this author except for this book. I had problems with the book that this one pertains to. I didn't like it, so I've been putting this book off for a long time. So I need to read it, but let me just share the book. The book is this one, Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I have read all Rainbow Rowell's books except for Carry On. I did not like Fangirl. Fangirl I read a while ago. It was before I read Harry Potter. I just didn't like Simon at all. It was the first book that I actually skipped pages to finish the book, and I wound up giving Fangirl a 2-star because I did not read the entire book. When I read a book, I read from the front page to the back page, and if I skip pages, I think that's not a good book, because why would I be skipping pages? So anyway, since then I have read 6 Harry Potter books, and I need to get into this one. This one is like Harry Potter, so we'll see if I like it or not. I'm hoping I don't DNF it. It is a fat book, so that's why I've been, not wanting to read it, and because I hated Fangirl so much. Yeah, so this one I need to try to read, even if I DNF it. So yeah, so that's that one. Okay, the next one is an author that I read before, and I really loved the book that I read by her, so I want to read many more books. I actually read the novella to this one. It was a short story before this one, like a prequel. So I want to read this one. I was supposed to read it last year, but I never got to it. It's Little Mercies by Heather Gundenkoff. I really liked the book that I read by her. I read something about a school shooting, and I really liked it. So I wanted to try something else, so this is the book that I chose, and it's been on my nightstand for a while, which I haven't even opened up. So I need to try to read this one. So that's the third book. Okay, moving on to book number 4. Book number 4. Okay. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I don't like series. The reason I don't like series is because I love the first book, and then when I read the next book, it doesn't live up to the first book, and then I get disappointed. So this is a sequel to a book that I loved. I gave it a 5-star. I went into it blind. So this one I actually tried to read again, but I never finished it. I'm going to start again because I only read it. There is a bookmark in it. I read 44 pages and I never finished it. So I am going to attempt again to read this one. It's Unholy by Neil Shusterman. This is book 2 of the Unwind trilogy. I own all the books and I loved Unwind. I actually went into Unwind really not knowing anything. They just told me to read it and I was like, oh my god, this is so good. So I gave it 5 stars. It was a dystopian. It was about giving children to the government and the government taking them and taking their body parts. It was really disturbing and I couldn't put the book down. So I'm afraid that Unholy is not going to live up to book 1. So yeah, so I've been holding off reading this one. So I really need to dive into this one and get it off my TBR because I have been buying Neil Shusterman books and I just haven't moved on. I just loved Unwind so much. Yeah, so it's time to read this one. Okay, moving on to the next book, which is book 5. Now, this one is another author that I love. I've read some of her books. Actually, I think she only has 3 books out, and I read the other 2. So this one I've been holding off because I love reading World War II, but I can't read World War II every single month because it puts me down into depression. So this one's been on my shelf for a while, and I need to read it. It is Between the Shades of Grey by Ruta Septis. It's about World War II. I know I'm going to love it. I just haven't had a chance to open it up and read it. So yeah, Ruta Septis, I love her writing style. She writes historical fiction. As I said, it's about World War II. I loved her other 2 books that I read by her, and yeah, I know I'm gonna love it. I just haven't had a chance to open it up. So this one. Okay, moving on to 6. Number 6 is another author that I love. I've read almost all of her books. So why haven't I read this one? I don't know. Let me get it. I have everything on the floor here. Okay, the book that I want to read is 3 Wishes by Leon Moriarty. Yes, this is one of her older books. I have no idea what it's about, but since I read all her other books, What Alice Forgot is my favorite. Yeah, I read all her other books except for this one. I haven't read the anniversary one, and I haven't read Guilty, something or other. I heard it wasn't as good, so I do own it, but I just haven't had a chance to read it. But I really want to read this one first, so that's on my list. Okay, oh, here we go. As you can tell, I put another book that is a book 2 of a series that I just haven't moved on because book 1 was amazing. Okay, so I am afraid that book 2 is not going to be as a 5-star read. And I don't want to ruin book 1. So book 2 is called Do Not Disturb by A.R. Torr. Book 1 was The Woman in 6E. The Woman in 6E. It's a red cover, red book. It was amazing. You like psychological thriller and you like erotica, it had both romance and erotica, psychological thriller. It was awesome. 5-star. Once I started reading, I couldn't stop. So I'm afraid that this one is not going to hold my attention as much as book 1. So this has been on my nightstand for a while now, and I need to read it. So yeah, I'm going to challenge myself to read this one. Okay, the next book, I have 2 books left. The next book is a book that I purchased because it won an award. And it won the Women's Bally's Award. So I purchased this one, and it's a short book. And I need to read this one. So it's Sight by Jessie Greengrass. Look how short that is. Yeah. I mean, I could probably read this in one sitting if I really wanted to, but I have never read, I actually only read one book in my life that I sat down and read from cover to cover in one day, which was um, Monsters Call by Patrick Ness, and I was crying my eyes out. Anyway, this one is short. It's about a woman who wants to have children or something or other, and that's all I know about it. It won an award, and I need to read it. So that's that one. Okay, the last book. The last book is a book that I am going to be reading. I actually put it on my Around the Year in 52 books because I need to read this one. It's a very old book. It's a book that my grandmother gave me before she passed away. Both my grandmothers read. My one grandmother is still alive. She's in Florida. And my other grandmother, who passed away, also lives in Florida, and she passed away. And before she passed away, she was giving me books, and she said to me, this is her favorite book of all time, and I have not read it yet. I have her copy, and I need to read it. So I'm putting this on this list, and I'm definitely going to be reading it in one of the weeks of Around the Year in 52 books, because I chose it as one of the books. It is a fat book. Okay, so here we go. The book that I haven't read yet, I know. This is an old book. I haven't read this one yet. The Thorn Birds by Colleen McCullough? I don't know how to say her name. Anyway, this was a very popular book for older, and when this book was published, let's see. This is my grandmother's copy that she gave me, and it was published 1977, so I was 7 years old when this book was published. So yeah, I need to read this one. It's a very old book. Yeah, so it's about 40 something years old. Yeah. So this is the book that I need to read soon. So here we go. Here are the 9 books that I need to read. So which one should I start with? I know that this one is definitely going to be read because I did choose it for one of my weeks. So, but all the other ones, which one should I start with? And I know that this one, Carry On, is going to give me a struggle. So just to let you know. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video.